I guess it can be overwhelming because you're not sure you belong anywhere, but actually you belong in that in between.
Your heart has been just divided in parts. One part of my heart is in Colombia and one part of my heart is here.
I don't feel like I belong really anywhere.
3, 2, 1. You're listening to Latino Living.
Hola a todos, welcome back to Latino Living,
a podcast about the lives of Latinos in Louisiana.
Okay, done. Cut the camera.
Este podcast es parte de HSJA at Northwestern State University.
Hola. Hola.
During each episode, we will share with you topics that affect las vidas de Latinos in este corner of the state.
The journey to the United States is an emotional one and often takes a lot of time and money.
Hola a todos, welcome back to Latino Living.
Y bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio.
We're your hosts, Leah Portillo
y Isabel Juárez. And today's episode is The Cost of el Sueño.
Isa and I are no strangers to the immigration process. Today, you'll be hearing from Ms. Christine Farrell, a professor of Spanish and French at Northwestern State University, the director of International Resource Center, Valentina Erazo Alvarez, and one of our very own Latino Living team members, Atziari Perez.
They shared a lot of their personal stories, which me and Leah could relate to a lot because we often found ourselves in their spot many different times. And like many others, we'll probably be also able to relate to them and how difficult or easy their process was. So we'll be hearing more about them later on.
So every immigration story is different, right? And so mine, I never intended to come to the U.S. That was not something I was interested in. But when I was in Germany studying as a Erasmus student, which is an exchange program in Europe, I met this guy from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we fell in love.
I'm still in the process to become a resident here, and then after that, a citizenship.
Atzi's work permit allows her to have more freedom on what job she wants to get and have more flexibility about the income that she's getting, unlike international students where they have to work on campus and it has to be a job related to their major. Is very different, and international students are more limited.
Yeah, I mean, Valentina even told us about how international students have to pay a lot of fees just even to apply to college.
$31,856. That value covers tuitions and fees, living expenses, and health insurance. That's another thing. They have to have a health insurance. I think that I call that the point when you know if a student is coming or not, because not everyone can do that.
And after all of that, you're still left with the question of belonging. Because do you really feel like you belong here, Leah?
Well, no. I mean, it's been, 12 years now since I've been in the United States. I left Honduras when I was 9 years old. And even when you go back to there in the summers, like, you can't. 1 month or 1 week is not going to be enough for you to feel like you're fully your Honduran self, or for me, my Honduran self again. And then I come back over here, and then I still hear my accent sometimes, or people still call me out on things that I don't really understand. Like, I don't understand sarcasm at all. So it's like, it takes on you.
And I don't feel like I belong anywhere. I don't feel like I belong here. I feel like if I go back to Mexico, I feel like I will never belong there again. Oh my God!
I want to cry. But I always think about how much time I'm missing from my parents' life and my sister. I try to call them all the time, but they have their own lives there, so they are busy. And it is... People are always saying how brave we are, but they don't even begin to understand how hurtful the experience is.
So, I think that's all we have. Do you want to do the ending?
I sure do. So this was
Latino Living,
un
podcast para todos. Ciao!